Hello, hello. Hello, dear student. Very good morning to all of you. Hope you all are doing well. आशा करता हूँ आप लोग अच्छे में हो. So please confirm me whether my audio, video, everything is okay or not, so that we can start our session smoothly without having any problem. Hello, hello. Hello, dear student. Very good morning. Hope you all are doing well. आशा करता हूँ आप लोग अच्छे से हो. So please confirm me whether my audio, video, everything is okay or not, so that we can start our session smoothly without having any problem. Hello, hello. Hello, dear student. All are Hello. So now I think there is a echo issue. So now it is sorted. Hello. So now I think there is a echo issue. So now it is sorted. Chali. So once again, very good morning, dear student. Today we are going to see about 21st 21st August, the Hindu newspaper analysis. So dear student, so first important thing is how you can get this PDF. This is what called premium infographics edition. You can simply scan this QR code to download our application, and within that application, you will find not the today PDF, all the past PDF available there. Then those who are using iOS or iPad device, so you can download Class Plus application, use or code edge PKR MEJ to get all this PDF available there also. So you can also scan our Telegram group to get all this newspaper, raw newspaper, all daily MCQ mains questions to get all these things. So let's discuss about today important news. So before starting the discussion, let me put what is the main objective of our discussion. So here we are going to find each and every articles how it is relevant for our examination, whether it is for your prelims, mains or interview. If it is important for your prelims, then what kind of question they can ask. If it is mains, and what kind of analysis, what kind of or data, what kind of like the information given is important for your introduction, conclusion or body, and if it is important and how you can going to use that. So that is what our sole objective of this discussion. Okay, chaliye, and during this discussion I am going to give you a lot of tasks, so please note down while I'm giving this task, and at the end of this discussion you are going to practice or go do some Google search and make note of it. Then only they are going to be very helpful for you. And we are going to complete this discussion in just 45 minutes. Please watch this video till end. You'll get a lot of insights. It is my promise. You'll get a lot of extra marks in your prelims by watching this regularly. So bills to Oust the arrested PM, CM trigger house chaos. So recently, the Home Ministry, Amit Shah, recently Minister of Home Affairs, introduced a bill that try to decriminalize, remove a chief minister, prime minister, or other minister if they are, arrested for more than 30 days. That is what basically government introduced to make sure that there should not be any criminal element. Those who are having some tainted background, if they enter into stay in power, so that is what create the negative environment. So bill were referred to the joint committee after voice vote. Center said that bill are to bring morality back into politics. Amit Shah and KC Venugopal spar over former 2010 arrest. So in 2010, Amit Shah was arrested. So the opposition and ruling party MP exchanged bow at the Lok Sabha Wednesday over the government claim to bring political morality through three new law allowing the removal of the elected representative arrest on various criminal charges. If let's say a minister, either the chief minister or prime minister or other minister, if they are charged with a accusation having punishment more than 5 years, and if they have been in jail for more than 30 days, so they will be removed from this post. As the bill was introduced, Home Ministry Amit Shah and opposition leader KC Venugopal. So they have a heated argument regarding 2010 when Amit Shah was arrested as a Home Minister of Gujarat. So at the Home Minister introduced the three bills, opposition MP shouted and unconstitutional. So and anti-federal. Why they are saying so? If you look into Bharatiya Nyaya Sahita (BNS), so there are so many provisions so that can make 30 days jail anyone quite easy. They can use some provisions to make anyone jail for 30 days quite easy. If someone is jailed for 30 days, then you can demand removal. and if removal, then new person will come into power to form the CM. So that is what changed the equation at the state level. So that is what the ground of opposition by the that is what ground for opposition by the LOP or other person. Second thing, in our judiciary system, we believe that a person is innocent until proven guilty. But this act, first you are assuming that you are guilty, and until unless it has been proven. So that is what the ground for opposition. So you can see here, three bill tabled in the Home Minister proposed to removal of the Prime Minister, Chief Minister, and Minister under certain conditions. So first, this constitutional amendment bill is 130 amendment, 130th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay? So arrest and detention of the 30 consecutive days of serious charges that having imprisonment more than 5 years. So facing charges offense punishable with imprisonment 5 years or more. If a person is arrested for 30 days, more than 30 days, and the charge can be punishable, like some of the criminal charges that can be punishable for more than 5 years, in that case that person need to be removed. Okay na? So second one is government of union territory bill, so that same thing can happen in the union territory also. Then Jammu Kashmir reorganization amendment bill. So removal authority is president in case of prime minister and union ministry, and governor in case of chief minister and state minister, lieutenant governor in case of union territory. Okay? So the additional legislative the additional provision, the legislation allow for possibility of reappointment once the detained chief minister released. Let's say let's say koi ex chief minister of a state arrested for 60 days, so that means that person will be disqualified to be a CM, and after this release from the jail, so that person can again become a CM of that state. But it is quite easy to say that, but there is a open to misuse this provision. That the central agencies like ED, even in Supreme Court, they are talking out, they are the political tool in the hands of the government at the center. So they can use the provision of the ED, CVI to arrest any chief minister or any minister, and they can be imprisoned for more than 30 days. Then you'll just disqualify that CM or minister, and then you'll make sure that fall of that government, and that is the reason they are opposing. And second thing is, देखो, in our judicial system में क्या होती है, कोई इंसान जब ऑलरेडी पनिश, जब कोर्ट उसको पनिश करते हैं, देन उसको हम मानते हैं गिल्टी. इन आवर जुडिशियरी सिस्टम वी बिलीव दैट समवन इज क्रिमिनल when that person is punished by the court, but this law is assumed that a person is guilty before it is being convicted in the judiciary. So that is what the concern that is being, these are the valid concern that need to be addressed. So Delhi chief minister attack at the public hearing, man from Gujarat arrested. So this is what a heinous attack. You cannot attack whatever may be your grievances. You have to put that in a public public particular platform. You cannot attack anyone. So our elected government mercy of the governor. So governor's fancy. So Supreme Court to the central government. Recently there is a controversy being going on after president made a reference under Article 143 of the Constitution. According to that article, president can make reference to the Supreme Court to clarify certain laws. So under that, central government given, president ask a reference regarding, whether the Supreme Court can prescribe a time limit when Constitution does not give any time limit for president and governor to act when certain bill is passed by either the parliament or state legislative assembly. Okay? So here the Supreme Court on Wednesday asked center if elected government were at the mercy of the whims and fancies of the governor, who could fail by merely withholding the assent. Let's say state government, they are elected people, state legislative assembly, they are having the people mandates, they passed a bill, and the bill is presented before the governor. If governor withhold his assent, so then bill never became an act. That means the governor, it is nominated by the center, can effectively block any bill passed by the state government. So that is the reason we need to ensure that governor should be raised above the political parties, should be raised above the petty politics of the day, and act as a guardian of the state, guardian of the constitutional head of the state. So presidential reference headed by the Chief Justice Gabi was examining this. So that state bill could lapse if governor withhold assent to proposed law presented to them for approval under Article 200. So dear student, I'm expecting a question in prelims or mains regarding Article 20 or ascending power of the president. So Article 200 is talking about power of the governor to assent a bill. So whenever a bill is presented before the governor, so Article 200 is talking about whenever a bill is presented before the governor, governor can give assent, can withhold assent, can return to the bill for reconsideration, can give reserve for president. Okay? So in case of return, if again state legislative assembly pass the bill, then president has to give the assent. And in case of withhold, bill became end. In case of assent, then bill became the act. Okay? So you have to remember these things because it is quite controversy. So UPSC tends to ask this type of question, not directly what is in news, but they can ask about background news. So dear student, you know next year after your prelims, hardly 75 days is left for mains. So you can start writing the mains answer writing now because you are left with very less time after your prelims. So you can join our essay answer writing, daily mains answer writing by scanning this QR code. You can join our mentorship program. Here you will get high quality mentorship by experienced mentor who have given multiple experience in the UPSC and other examination. They will make your journey quite smooth. So you can contact us for more detail. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So no delay in treating amoebic infection Kerala. So recently, I think you know that there is a encephalitis that is being going on in the Kerala. So the health department has brushed aside the speculation that there is an inordinate delay in diagnosis of amoebic meningitis. That is what called amoebic meningitis encephalitis. Samples are being sent to the state public labs. So the facility to check cerebral fluid samples and make presumptive diagnosis that was trophozoic causing the encephalitis, and treatment was this protozoa actually they eat the brain, so they enter through our nose or eardrum whenever you enter into a bath in the stagnant pond. So in that pond, this Nigeria filariasis amoeba found, so that enter through our nose and ear, and this start eating our brain. So because of that, so many people are died in the past in Kerala particularly. So this is what a cause of concern, and government is taking a lot of steps to prevent that. Okay, chaliye. So next article is Uttarakhand Assembly clear amendment to Uniform Civil Code and Anti-Conversion Bill. So we know that recently Uttarakhand passed the Uniform Civil Code. It is also passed Anti-Conversion Bill. So Uttarakhand Assembly witnessed a clear 9 key bill including amendment to the Uniform Civil Code, Freedom of Religious Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion Act, and Minority Education Bill. So Uniform Civil Code Bill introduced changes to the UCC which come into force earlier this year. So key amendment including punishment for those illegally live in relationship and extending registration period for marriage from 6 months to 1 year. Those who are living illegally in live-in relation, it provide for penalty, and marriage registration has been increased. So now next is freedom of religious. The freedom of religious and prohibition of unlawful conversion bill also provide jail sentence to the if you are converting someone illegal or by forcefully. Okay, this is the provision, just need to know that. So Karnataka, next important article is Karnataka most backward group disappointed over the quota decision. So they, after the Karnataka cabinet decided to categorize to provide internal reservation among the scheduled caste, a section of the community has expressed anguish at the scrapping of a category that provide 1% quota over 59 microscopic community grounded with untouchability. So 59 castes together constitute 5.2 lakhs or 4.97 of the total enumerated population. So this is the first time state government provide reservation within reservation. That means this reservation is provided those who are in the scheduled caste. So this is a good initiative. We need to ensure that the reservations by, let's say the reservation is 7.5 is given to the SC category, and within that we need to categorize those who are most backward, they need to give more reservation. Those who are less backward, after we need to give preference to them also. So 2,500 for student given midday meal contaminated by the dog. So recently, this is a very sad incident happened. Midday meal are supposed to provide nutritious meals, but Chhattisgarh High Court ordered Chhattisgarh government to pay 25,000 to the each and every students. Recently served a midday meal, despite fact that school authority knew that it has been contaminated by the dogs. So after compensation paid, the student also given the rabies vaccine. So there might be chances of infection. So after the meal is cooked and stored, so there is some dog that caused damage to this food. Despite knowing all these things, headmaster continue to ensure that in that case headmaster should prevent the consumption of that meal by the student, but he has not taken any action, so that led to the consumption of that food. And 84 children is already given the rabies vaccines to prevent development of rabies, and high court order 25,000 to each of the students should be paid. चलिए, so next is Supreme Court refusal to closure of slaughterhouse of 9 days during the Jain festival. So Jain community, they believe in non-violence. So during the 9 day Jain festival, so they are requesting the Brihad Mumbai Municipal Corporation, that is BMC, to stop the killing of any animal. So the High Court, they rejected it, saying that we cannot do it without having any backing of any law. Okay, so this is a very controversial issue. Can we ban meat sale during any festival when other people are consuming, like on the one hand you have the right to freedom of religion, on the other hand there is a right to life also. So without food people cannot survive, so there is a heated debate. So you need to know all these things whenever you are giving argument. You can give the quote of how court different interpretation take a stand. Okay. So the trust challenging the Brihad Mumbai Municipal Corporation August 14 order, which permit closure of slaughterhouse only on the August 24 and 27 on the Ganesh Chaturthi. So Jain community, they are saying whenever BMC can ban selling of the meat in Ganesh Chaturthi, why can't they ban during our festival? So that is what they are saying. It is a discrimination. So we respect your sentiment, but tell us from where do we derive right to ask slaughterhouse to closure from 10 days? To make something ban, you need some permission that should be come from the law. Supreme Court or High Court cannot give that discretion or direction to anyone. So that is what they are saying. Chaliye, let's move to the last page. So first one is water extreme drive people from home in Afghanistan. It is not about the Afghanistan, it is about all over the world. Because of water shortage, people are facing lot of trouble. So it is said that in world war are fought for colony, but 21st century world, the war is going to be fought on the basis of water. So China is already constructing lot of dams in the upper reach. So that is what our trouble is. So the successive war displaced Afghan over 40 years, but peace has not brought to the reprieve, as climate fueled shock drive people from their homes and strain their livelihood. We know that Afghan is suffering from last 40 years because of repeated war. First there is a US invasion, then Taliban rule. So these are the war that ravaged the Afghanistan. Now it is the climate change that is what again ravaged. Since the war ended between now ruling Taliban and USA-led force in 2021, so flood, drought, and other climate-driven environmental hazard have become main cause of displacement in the country, according to the UN International Organization for Migration. So, dear student, you have to study in detail about the UN International Organization of Migration, IOM. Okay. So in early 2025, nearly 5 million people across the country were impacted and nearly 4 lakh people were displaced, IOM said July, citing climate vulnerability assessment. So Afghan live in mud house and depend heavily on the agriculture livestock, making them particularly exposed to the environmental challenging. Already people are living in a condition where that depends on the environment is very high. Any harms to the environment is going to impact. The water cycle has been sharply affected. The Afghanistan gain in the grip of drought 4 time in the 5 year. In last 5 year, Afghanistan is suffering 4 time drought. You can imagine what kind of problem. Crop failure, dry pasture, and vanishing water sources are pushing rural community to the edge. UN Food and Agriculture Organization getting harder by family. Because of this repeated crop failure, drought, so people are facing hunger, malnutrition. So that is what said by the FAO. Dear student, you have to study about detail about FAO. So dear student, can you comment in the comment box where is the headquarter of FAO? Headquarter of FAO located in which place? Since the war ended, the flood and drought have become main cause of displacement in the country, according to the UN International Organization for Migration. Okay. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So dear student, this PDF you can get. It is called Premium Infographics Edition by scanning this QR code. So the charge is very nominal, 300 rupees per year, which is less than 1 rupee per day. So you can get you can save your 3 hour of newspaper reading just 45 minutes. Yet you will not any important news. चलिए हम पढ़ते हैं. So bistable gene in deadly bacterium offer a clue how to overcome it. I don't think it is much important for our examination, but whatever I've just highlighted, go through it. What are the role is given, so how they replicate, that is what most important. No need to go in detail because it's quite medical and complex term, so it is not important for our examination. So next is Israel suspended from future astronomical Olympiad edition because it's war against the Palestinian people, and it is killing more than 62,000 people in the Palestine. So because of that, they have been suspended. And Iran ready with a new missile, say the ministers. Recently, 12 days war that has happened between the Israel Iran and USA. So they can ask about 12 days war is recently seen in news related to what. So they can ask about give option about Ukraine and Russia. They can give option of Israel Palestine. Then you can give Houthi rebels like that. They can give 4 5 options. So you have to answer that. Okay. So Russia said capture 3 village Ukraine's east. So while there is a negotiation that is going on between the Russia, USA, European Union, and Ukraine. So Russia is also capturing territory so that it can have a better bargaining power during negotiating table. So Wang Yi hold trilateral meeting with Taliban, Pakistan in Kabul. So recently after visiting to the India, Wang Yi visited to the Kabul. Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan. There they are going to have trilateral meeting between Afghanistan, Pakistan, and China. So Chinese Foreign Affairs Ministry Wang Yi met the Taliban Foreign Affairs Ministry Amir Khan. So discuss trilateral connectivity project under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. You know that CPAC is passing through the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, so that is what violate our sovereignty, territorial integrity, and China should respect that. India is strongly opposing this connectivity project. So Wang Yi also met our Prime Minister. So and after that they visited to the Pakistan. So government has traditionally frowned upon any hypernation between the India and Pakistan during travel visiting dignitaries. India always try to avoid any equation, making equal comparison between India and Pakistan. Pakistan GDP is lower than the GDP of our Mumbai, a single city. So how can you compare with these two countries? So one country is known for its terrorist, terroristan, and other country is known for its, developed and fourth largest economy of the world. So that is the reason our government avoid of having equality or parity between these two countries. This is Mr. Wang first visit to the Kabul 3 year and first region since India-Pakistan conflict that is happening in the Operation Sindoor. So Beijing this year, China, Pakistan formally invited Taliban to join this Belt and Road Initiative and CPAC. So dear student, you have to study in detail about the Belt and Road Initiative. So few project Belt and BRI and Maritime Silk Route. Okay, you have to study these two because they are very important. So what are the Indian concern in this project? India objected to the BRI and CPAC, particularly as it is passing through the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, violating India's concern over the sovereignty and territorial integrity. And trilateral talk also discuss the completion of the railway line Central Asia to the Pakistan by Afghanistan, according to the statement. So if you look into the so this is what the CPAC. So it is a part that is under the POC. So passing through that. So that is the reason India is opposing. So Israel approved the plan to seize Gaza city, call for reservists. Recently Israel is planning to have military control over the Gaza city to control the terrorists. So that led to the worldwide condemnation, and that made people think that two-state solution is not going to possible if Israel capture or have control over the Gaza strip. Chaliye. So next, dear student, you can join our current affair. We are providing on a daily basis. So you can just download our application and from there you can get it. So next, Finance Ministry address group of ministry explain importance of GST proposal. So recently, government is planning to make a reform in our GST so that it can be more rationalized, it can be simplified, and tax rate can be reduced. Why this is happening at this moment? Because our export at the external front we are facing threat because of imposition of sanction by the Donald Trump. So we need to push our product more demand in the domestic market, and that is can possible whenever we are reduce our taxes. So that is the reason government want to rationalize the GST. So three group of ministries set off by the Goods and Service Tax Council to emphasize importance of the central proposal reforming. So three groups are the compensation sales, health and life insurance, and rate rationalization. During the meeting, Union Finance Ministry emphasized that proposal by the central government is with vision to usher next generation GST reform in journey towards becoming Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay. So the reform proposed by the center based on the three pillars. So first pillar is about structural reform. We need to make sure that structural reform to correct the inverted duty structure. So what do you mean by inverted duty structure? Let's say TSAT. Let's say we need to manufacture TSAT in India. Let's say this is our India T-shirt manufacturing. To manufacture the T-shirt, we need raw material. If raw material tax is low, then our T-shirt cost will be low now. But what happening now? Instead of that, our raw material cost to India is very high. raw material cost tax is very high, and whenever we are making any SAT, so cost of production is high, so cost is high. But in case we are making import, so import of same T SAT is low. So that is the reason, instead of importing raw material, we are importing finished product, so we never emerge as a manufacturing hub. ठीक है. So first, structural reform to correct inverted duty structure. Second, to rate rationalization aim to provide greater relief across this sector. Third, to ease of living, which seeks to simplify the GST registration process. So UA to have first global capacity center talent abundance in Bangalore. So eBay, they are planning to establish its first global capacity center at the Bangalore. So this is what very important you need to know about. The core sector growth slow to the 2% fossil fuel contract. So dear student, you have to study in detail about 8 core sector. So anyone can explain, write in the comment box what are the 8 core sector and what are the contribution of the sport sector to the index of industrial production. So what is the percentage of contribution, and the IIP is released by which ministry? So if you look into that index of 8 core sector released by Ministry of Commerce and Industry, it is comprising of 8 industries. So can you name that? And it is comprised of around 40% of IIP, index of industrial production. So if our 40% is not growing well, so this is what we can gauge that our economy is not doing well. So Aadhaar to be, next article is Aadhaar to be used for Starlink KYC, says by the UIDAI. So SpaceX satellite internet service Starlink will use Aadhaar to validate Indian user under Know Your Customer Unique Identification Authority of India. So now to get the Starlink internet service, so you need to have Aadhaar card to verify your KYC. So that is what said by the ministry. So recently, चलिए next article देखते हैं. So the terms of reference signed begin India Eurasia trade deal. So recently we have signed a trade agreement between the India and Eurasia. So who are the member of that? Eurasia member are Russia, Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. So Republic Witnesses signed terms of reference to begin negotiation on the free trade agreement. So India, this is what announced. So both side noted that our growing trade, so our trade, bilateral trade is 69 billion, so it is growing very well. And if you look into the combined GDP is 6.5 trillion, and out of that 50%, more than 50% of the GDP is concentrated in India. So now we are facing threat from USA in terms of higher tariff. So that is the reason India is exploring free trade agreement with different country to counter the impact of the USA tariff hike. ठीक है, चलिए नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल देखते हैं. So global uncertainty in external demand, major drag on the growth. So now if you look into the GDP of any country, you will find it is called CIGXM, CIGXM. So that means consumption expenditure, investment expenditure, government expenditure, export minus import. This is what called external. So any economy around 20 to 25% of their demand is coming from the external sector. When your export is facing threat, so definitely our demand or GDP is going to face this threat. So sign of distress in growth, employment in MSME are visible across the sector. So reliance of the US market, say the monetary policy member Ram Singh. So the adverse impact of the tariff and geopolitical uncertainty on demand remain major concern at the latest monetary policy committee that is meeting being held, MPC meeting. So dear student, we have to study about MPC, monetary policy committee. It is established under which act? How many members are there? Who appoint these members and what are their mandate? What are their role? So like please study that in detail, so which is very important for your examinations. So please search these terms in your goals and you'll find a lot of insight. So uncertainty in internal demand driven by tariff, geopolitical uncertainty in international demand, external particularly demand driven by the uncertainty and geopolitically uncertainty remain major drag on the growth, also hinder the private investment intention, which is yet to show visible sign of improvement. So RBI governor said that. ठीक है. So you know that USA already imposing 25%, it is planning to impose more 25% because we are purchasing Russian oil. And to counter that, government is signing a lot of free trade agreement, like free trade agreement with European, no, UK, and we are also negotiating free trade agreement with the European Union. We have already free trade agreement with the European, Eurasian Union. Okay. So the sign of distress in growth and employment for MSME are visible. Sectors such as such as diamond, jewelry, textile, apparel, and external sector. So dear student, you can scan this QR code to download our Telegram. So there you'll get a lot of study material guidance program we are providing free of cost. You can utilize that. So Global Solar Alliance plan to establish research hub in India. So the Global Solar Alliance or the International Solar Alliance being established in 2005 by Prime Minister of India and French President to ensure that proper utilization and mobilization of the solar energy at the international level. So by end of this year, International Solar Alliance will set off 17 center of excellence in many countries and going to ahead with the global capability center in India, akin to the Silicon Valley of the solar. So we are planning to emerge as a leader or hub for the solar sector. So starting off an ecosystem, Indian Institute of Technology, universities, and global capacity center act as a hub of connecting all these centers. So this 17 center rise to 15. So we'll gradually upgrade this 17 to 50 sector. So looking India to improve their human capability. So if you look into about International Solar Alliance, you'll find that that is being established by India in collaboration with the French in 2015. So headquarters is Gurugram, located in India, having member around 100 members. So this is what the about International Solar Alliance. Okay. So several countries are looking to engineer from the Several countries are looking to engineer from the India supply the vital human capital necessary to implement solar project, including digital tender operation and maintenance, all skill that India can provide. So India's cumulative installed capacity of 119, around 120 gigawatt of solar power capacity we have by 2025. Just imagine huge amount of solar capacity we are having. So around 22 lakhs net addition of to the EPFO June says by the government. So EPFO Employee Provident Fund Organization. It is a independent organization established to provide social security to our the laborers. Okay. So Employee Provident Fund Organization has registered a net member addition of around 22 lakhs in June, an increase of 9.1% compared to the last month. So this is highest recorded net addition since payroll data checking began in 2018. So net payroll additions to the age 18 to 25 June approximately 9.72. So that is 12% more than the last year. So you can just imagine that is a clear indication that government is creating, it is our economy is creating a lot of jobs for the peoples. So Lok Sabha clear a bills that ban real money game. So recently we have seen how this app they are looting people's, they are making people in a false claim like fantasy game, all this game. So that to regulate that, government is recently bringing this bill. So the sweeping measure, the promotion regulation online gaming bill prohibit offering, operation, facilitation, advertisement, promotion, and participation in the online games. Na? So the real money gaming referred to the platforms such as Dream 11, Poker Baji. So risk their money for winner. So the industry argue that fantasy game are choice of those of skill and cannot be regulated states as a gambling. So game can be two types of game, that is game of skill, that game of skill no need to regulate, and game of chance that need to be regulated. So bill makes the distinction between the game of chance and the skill irrelevant. It seeks to ban the online money gaming. So industry have an annual turnover, you can say significant annual turnover, the tune of 31,000 crore. So bill proposed to imprisonment up to 3 years or fine 1 crore for entity offering facilitation of online money game. If anyone is providing that, that person can be imprisoned for 3 years and fine up to 1 crore. So bill also seeks to prohibit advertisement related to online games. The advertisement can attract imprisonment up to 2 years and fine up to 50 lakhs. So, in ethics, I think about role model. Whenever our leader do something, so that is what going to have impact on the society. So here, our army chief and his wife, they pledge to donate their organs after their death. Same thing we need to have, we need to promote in each and every organization. Each and every organization, their leader, they need to pledge that. Whenever our leader pledge that, so definitely that is what going to percolate down, and that is what going to be create awareness among the peoples for donation of the organs. Okay. So union government approved the renaming of the UP Jalalabad. So dear student, this political controversy news is not important, but what is new important is how name of a district can be changed, how a district name can be changed. So please study it very carefully. Okay, so you can just Google it, you'll find so how name of a district can be changed. So ministry said the action will be taken against CSDS for circulating mislead data. So recently what happened, so Center for you can see about Center for Study of Developing Society, they publish a particular photo of the electoral roll in the Maharashtra Assembly, and later on they deleted from the Telegram. So that in the X, so that led to the controversy that is being going on. So that is the reason central government is saying that they will take action for misleading data. So dear student, we are providing Odisha specific daily infographics and current affair. You can get it by scanning this QR code, join our application. So NDA candidate CP Radhakrishnan filed the paper of vice presidential poll. To a prospective vice presidential candidate is required to get his nomination paper subscribed to at least 20 electorate and proposer and 20 electorate as seconder. So why it is important? Because recently vice president election is going on, so you have to study in detail the process. So they can ask something related to that. No need to go into the political aspect. You need to know about the constitutional process. So effective strength of the electoral college for poll is 781. So the majority is 391. So what we need 781, but our majority is 391. So next important development, India successfully test Agni 5 missile. So India on Wednesday successfully test fire intercontinental ballistic missile Agni 5 from Odisha Chandipur range. So Agni 5, if you look into it's a ICBM. What is the full form of ICBM? Intercontinental ballistic missile. That means it can travel from one continent to another continent with a distance of 5,000 kilometers. So most of the China will cover by it. Okay, so previous trial of the Agni 5 was conducted in March 2014 when DRDO successfully tested missile equipped with multiple independent targetable re-entry vehicle MORV. So what do you mean by MORV? Let's say this is a missile. So this is the node where weapons are stored. So in that missile, so we can store multiple weapons. So at the end, whenever this missile is going to strike the target, so independently each and every the missile can separate and they'll target the hit the different locations. So in that case it is very difficult for the air defense system to act against the single missile. So that is what the benefit of MORV capacity. What is the full form of MORV? Multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles technology. So recently, after this Home Ministry and introduced the bill for removal of Chief Minister, Prime Minister, and other minister if they are punishing or they are in prison or in jail for more than 30 days, led to the heated debate in the Parliament. Opposition party says that this can be a tool for that can be used. There are so many provision in the BNS Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Using that, you can imprison anyone more than 30 days. And after a person is jailed for 30 days, you can remove that person, and later on you can use president rule or other things to topple this government that is being elected by the people. And second thing is this bill is assumed that person is criminal on before it is being proven by the court. So that is what led to the violation of the law. And according to the government, this law is going to be promote morality, and the person who are in having severe crimes should not run the government, because this is what happened during the Arvind Kejriwal jail and incident. So Russia welcomed the Wang Yi visit and the positive turn in the India's China tie. So recently, the Wang Yi visited the India, and that led to the Russia believe that we need to cement our relation between Russia, China, and India. This is what called RIC. Okay, so Russia welcomed the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi visited to the India and positive turn of the China-India relations. India-Russia energy trade, we are importing more than 40% of our oil currently from the Russia. So Russia could stay cooperation with India in defense sector. So we are planning to have engine collaboration. Russia is ready to collaborate with India on the engine. So we are planning to manufacture jet engine. So Russia can help that. And second one is India is planning to establish its air defense system. It's called Operation, or it can the Sudarshan Chakras, where Russia can help by providing S-400 and other missile defense system. So highlighting the need for stronger tie among the BRICS and Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Russia is member of both. India is also member of the both. So Russia is emphasizing that we need to strengthen our relationship both BRICS and SCO. So lawful tools, he further called for additional tariff imposed on India is illegal on lawful tools that disrespect national interests, highlighting need for closer cooperation among the country of global south. So next is they are also talking about RIC summit. So RIC summit, if properly happens, so that is can be a very game changer for the USA. So USA currently imposing sanction on India. So we need to strengthen our relationship with other country also. He described the energy tie between India and Russia as having remained unaffected by the tariff sanction. USA and EU. So India-Russia energy trade use a very special mechanism bypassing Western sanction. Despite the threat of sanction by the European Union and USA against India, but still our trade in the oil is going on. Russia is a partner of choice for India. Yes, it is a partner of choice because the Russia is always stood with India when other countries are not ready. They are supporting, in fact, the Pakistan a military regime. Russia should participate in future jet engine project as well as building Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra is a plan India is planning to build its air defense system so that it can prevent any aerial attack from by the any country. So S-400 been, we have seen how it is helpful during our Operation Sindoor. So final report on the Tamil Nadu custodial death, says CBI. So now we have seen in different part of the India how custodial torture led to the huge amount of people are dying in different part of India. So this report recently tabled by the CBI. So the finding of the report is helpful for taking all these actions. Chaliye, next article. So AMMA panel inquire into the memory card controversy. So recently in Malayalam film industry, we are seeing that there is a movement going on against sexual abuse by those who are in the powerful director, those who are casting involved in the casting couch. So there are allegation, there is allegation that there is a memory card available in that there is some recording is there, so that might be opened off something going on. So that is the reason the controversy is in news in Malayalam film industry. So Manipur violence was not spontaneous but planned, ethnically targeted, says by the report. So Manipur violence is going on for years. So why this is continue? So I'm just going to give you a context. So please listen carefully. First, the Manipur High Court given given the scheduled caste status to the Meitei community. So after that, the Kukizo and Naga, they believe that by giving the status, so that might threat their identity. So that led to the protest. So by and large, all reason there is a protest, but few area violence is erupted and counter violence led to the systemic violence. And later on, the elected government by the elected government removed and president rule is imposed. And during this violence, also some of this the people they have looted the police armory and they are having guns also. So they have killed so many people. So this report is very important on this slide. Okay, chaliye. Next article is US core won the India M2 ending Ukraine war. So recently USA is putting huge pressure on the India with belief that that is going to help in ending this Ukrainian war. So our government at the mercy of governor fancy. So no, the state government, I have already told you, Article 200 is providing power of the president to give action to the bill. But this power should not be used with whims and fancies, rather used in sparingly to protect the constitution, not to politicize. So that is what the debate is going on. So if you look into the Article 20, it given to president to act, good faith. So to protect that state law should not violate the central law, not violate the constitution. So if you look into ascending power, so president is given this ascending power under Article 111. So you need to remember these things, na? Chaliye. So Jaishankar flagged the challenges that tariff posed to the Indo-Russian trade. So recently we have seen our trade with Russia is increasing very fast, but it is dominated by the India's purchase of the oil. So we also need to open up the Russian market for the Indian product. In the backdrop of USA Donald Trump imposed penalty, Indian External Affairs Ministry, Moscow raised challenges posed by the tariff and non-tariff barrier in the Russia-Indian trade. Okay? So on the conclusion of free trade agreement between Eurasia and India. So you can see about Indo-USA relationship. The India trade with Russia grew from 13 billion to 68 billion now. So Bangladeshi accuse are misplaced, say the center. So Bangladesh accused that India is providing shelter to the Awami League political leaders, and they are campaigning against the Bangladeshi government. So India simply, made it bogus claim and rejected this claim made by the Bangladeshi government. So dear student, you can join our this program by scanning this QR code. So next important is how charge coupled device revolutionize the digital images. So charge coupled device is a device that converts image into electrical charges. So that is what the foundation of present day modern camera that we all are used to take selfie, also take to live stream, The video perhaps that you are seeing also recorded by that also. So charge coupled device is a remarkable electronic component used to capture image by converting light into electrical signals. Its invention marked a significant milestone in technological influencing field like photography, astronomy, medicine, and many other. So if they ask about where is application, photography, astronomy, that is studying of the space, and medicine. So charge coupled device was pioneering technology that convert light into electrical signal using array of capacitor that transfer electric charge in a sequence. So whenever a image is clicked in a mobile phone, you have transfer that image. That is charge by charge transferred to the next mobile phone, and that form the pixel, each and every pixels. Today, the charge coupled device technology have fundamentally transformed how we capture, analyze, and share visual information, representing one of the most important technological advancement in the 20th century. Okay, modernly we are using the device, it is called digital charge coupled device. So how it is helpful? So charge coupled device is helpful many applications. So is household level possible. We are using digital camera and recording of CCTV camera. These are the application of the charge coupled device. It can also use in the medical application, for example x-ray, then computer tomography scan. So we all are using charge coupled device. In astronomy or observation of the outer space, we are also using the charge coupled device. Okay. चलिए next article is machine readable electoral roll. So I think you know that whenever you enter something, in UPSC, whenever mains roll number, if you enter, you'll find your number. So searchable, this is what called searchable in a PDF. If it is in PDF format, you can find your name. If it is not in PDF form or image form, you cannot find your name. So that is what the demand by the politician are demanding, or opposition party are demanding, that all the electoral rolls should be given in a machine readable form. If they enter the name, they can found, so that they can easily found the duplication of the names. But election commission, they are not providing machine readable form. They believe that by providing it, it can lead to the foreign country gaining access to the everything, like electoral roll, it contain name, address, everything. So that can be misused. So that is the reason election commission is not providing everything to everyone. So next is why India need a space law, national space law. Already at the international level, we are know that there is a treaty called Outer Space Treaty 1967, and recently India is emerging as a space nation. We have launched so many missions: Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, Gaganyaan. Okay? And we are going to launch the Gaganyaan, and we have already sent our astronaut to the space, and we are planning to establish our space station. So to do all these things, what we need a law, so that we can systematically develop our space sector. So what about global space legislation? Already we have the outer space treaty, but outer space treaty basically a facilitative legislation. For their implementation, we need a law at the national level. Now our private sector are participating, and foreign country are allowing to operate here. So to prevent all this, confusion, we need a space law, so that systematically growth of our space sector will be happen. Okay, so that is what it is talking about. We also need to have an insurance law in case of any damage. Let's say we have launched a satellite, but it is fall on a house, so we need to compensate that house. We need to compensate for that. We need a insurance sector, and our startup are fast flourishing in the digital space sector. So we need regulations to control that. Okay, so more question than answer over the deletion of the women. So recently, the special intensive revision drive that is being going on in the Bihar, so led to the exclusion of more women than the men. So if you look into that, men are actually migrated from different states, so their names should be deleted, more deleted. But in Bihar, more women name is deleted. So that led to the raising severe question of there might be deletion of name those who are rightful beneficiary. So nuclear law and role of opposition. So India passed two law to provide for participation of more private sector and foreign sector in the nuclear sector. So first one is Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act and Atomic Energy Act, that provide for relaxation of the law. So relaxation of the law rules regulations to ensure that more participation of the private sector and foreign sector. But if you look into this Civil Liability of Nuclear Defense Act, it provide for severe liability for even the supplier. Even after after they have paid the compensation, later on they can also demand more compensation. That led to the private sector, they are not ready to participate in our nuclear program, because later on they can held a liable. Okay, so why we have made such a tougher law? Because at that time we have seen so many disaster that is being happened. One is about the Bhopal gas tragedy 1984, then Mexico oil spill that is also happened, and then Fukushima disaster. So that led to the very tougher law. We have made under the Civil Liability of Nuclear Defense Act. So because of that, we have seen that no, not a single foreign country are participating in our nuclear program. So government is plans to amend that so that make it quite relaxation, so that private sector and international level participation will be happen. But the current issue have long term implications, so there is need for all round well rounded discussion so that you can find lasting solution. Why government is trying to introduce and relaxing this bill, but it should not be done in a haste. It should be proper debate discussion so that we can know about its implication and long term implication. So Indian democracy is falling the migrant citizens. So this is a very severe crisis. Dekho, recently the SIR being implemented in Bihar, but we are excluded 65 lakh people. But who are them? They are the migrant people. They migrated one state Bihar to different part of the world. So in Bihar now their name is eliminated, but let's say they are in Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, we are already seen that how people are talking about the son of soil concept. So they are facing discrimination in the Maharashtra also. So they will not get the voter list. Now here they are not getting voter list. So that means they emerge as a, you can say, ghost citizen of India. Neither they get the benefit from the states. Later on, they can benefit from the destination state. So that led to the complete ignorance. So democracy in democracy, and it is the role of the Election Commission of India. Those who are rightful citizen of India, they need to be included properly. Second thing is, it is very difficult for these poor people to migrate such a long distance just for the voter filling the voter ID. So Election Commission needs to find an alternative ways to ensure the smooth filling of this form. Okay. So the fact of that Election Commission is in crisis. So recently there are so many allegations against the Election Commission of India because of so many instances. So Election Commission should come out in public and make everything open. So I think constitutional bodies should not be shy away. It should be more open to the public. It should be it should be ready to listen the criticism. So criticism only helpful in making Election Commission better. So these are few criticism that is being given by the opposition. Okay. So next is punishment. So punishing the process, recently what happened, one particularly transgender woman, one applying to change the name from the female to transgender. So the academy deny them. Manipur Academy, particular institute, they deny them. So that led to the Manipur High Court order that we need to give them the the gender they want. If you look into Nalsa versus Union of India case, so it is clearly stated by the Supreme Court that so person have the right to give the identity they want. They can be male, female, transgender. But when the lady like the transgender demand the transgender certificate in their name, so the authority asks them to go and get past the 10th and 12th, then only we can change it. So that is what it is happening in our education, in our administration are designed for the male and female. We are not designed for transgender. Simply to change the name, so many problem is happening. So that is what we need. Not only the law, we also need to be sensitive training. We need to change the system so that whatever change in the law should percolate or reflect at the ground levels. So dear student, this is all about 21st August, the Hindu newspaper analysis. So dear student, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and please do share this video with your friends so that maximum number of students can benefit from it. So dear student, we'll have to end here. Chaliye, bye bye.